Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to the Daytona International Speedway for what is going to be a great week of racing. You know, this morning they're going to be doing the qualifying for the Pepsi 400. We saw Denny Hamlin's team pull in right behind Kyle Busch, but the talk of the day is Joey Logano, whose contract has come up at Joe Gibbs Racing, and he won 2 weeks ago, and it is so exciting of what's going on here in Daytona. We're going to go down to the garages and see what's happening. We do see the hauler of Kyle Busch pulling in. Really exciting day today. Richard Petty is going to be joining the crew. Right there we see AJ Allmendinger in the Best Buy 43 Ford. But the exciting thing is Richard Petty is going to run today. He hasn't run a race in almost 21 years. But here, as we get ready to celebrate the birth of America, what is more American than Richard Petty and the king of racing from Level Cross, North Carolina? And there is Kyle Busch's black M&M car for Joe Gibbs Racing. And we're going to move right on up. Denny Hamlin had come in and in practice yesterday, his FedEx Toyota, the rear end got damaged. So NASCAR in the Sprint Cup Series is allowing Denny Hamlin to drive the 20 car of Joe Gibbs Racing. That way he won't have to go all the way back to Charlotte for this great race. Let's go down to our pit reporter, McArthur Moore. McArthur is down looking at the pits, and it looks like he's got Richard Petty's team. McArthur, what's Richard's team doing right now to his car? And he's got to be excited about being back in racing.
Well, there's a cars racer called King, the King, that's voiced by this racer, and they just got him back in the race, and they're just filling up with gas, and they just finished putting his tires on. And here's Denny Hamlin changing his tires, ready to race. Looks like he's gonna have a lot of work to do after the race, looks like.
Why do you think it's going to have to do a lot of work? Somebody said, he changed the front right tire, and then they went ahead and put all new 4 tires on that Toyota to try to get it to hold the track. The track is still extremely cold right now. You know, a lot of people think you're in Daytona and the track immediately heats up, but the way the dew sets in and the water coming off the Atlantic Ocean affects the track heat, and it also really affects how the cars hold the track. I was talking to Winston Kelly about an hour ago, and Winston said that some things are definitely going on down at the Kyle Busch team. So I said, there's really nobody better that knows the Gibbs and the Kyle Busch team than McArthur Moore. McArthur, what is Kyle Busch telling you about today? What are his goals, and what is he trying to accomplish here in Daytona?
Well, he's going to try to win this race, and the track, this is one of the hard tracks that have water in it, and whoever spins out in the water is going to have its car broken down, and they'll have to rebuild it.
Well, and you make a good point. McArthur is talking about the inside of the Daytona Speedway has a huge lagoon. And what happens is the humidity comes off of that lagoon, and along with the air and the water coming from the Atlantic Ocean, creates pretty a hostile race environment. And that's why they've always run restrictor plates here. This track can be extremely fast. Joey Logano is getting 4 new tires. Everybody is raring to go to do on this qualifying. It looks like Greg Biffle's team is doing some hammering. His rear end spun out earlier. McArthur, did you talk to Greg Biffle and what is going on in his team?
Yes, I did, but he said he never won today, the 3 weeks in this racing. He never won.
That is correct. Greg Biffle is leading the Sprint Cup Series points, but he hasn't won. Just like Dale Earnhardt Jr., he came in with a win so significant at Michigan. And, Hendrick Racing has got to be excited that Dale Jr. finally seems to be hitting on all cylinders. And, you can't come to Daytona and talk Dale Jr. without talking about his late father, Dale Earnhardt Sr., where that tragic Sunday where he unfortunately passed in that race, and it's hard to believe we're coming up on 11 years. McArthur, you had been out talking to some fans, and right now the track hasn't heated up. What are the fans saying about being in Daytona this week?
It's warmed up now, so they're going to start racing now.
Okay, so they're going to come on the track. It looks like Tony Stewart is raring to go. Richard Petty right behind Tony Stewart. It's like the young and the old. Jeff Gordon is back on the turn 2 waiting for some gas in his car. Matt Kenseth has got his car back in the garage. When everybody starts the qualifying process here at Daytona, they'll run 1 or 2 laps. Because it's a restrictor plate race, just like Talladega, they can't make instant adjustments. And that's one of the things that McArthur's really been focusing on throughout being here at Daytona and down in the garage. McArthur, can you tell us what kind of adjustments are being made to the car?
The cars have not been racing. Well, we've had cars spinning out, a lot of cars spin out, and one time all the racers went in pits. It's crazy. And we have today, we hope no one crashes.
Yeah, that's a big issue at Daytona, is that, with the restrictor plates, the cars are running so fast, and the tires hold the air as good as any track in the Sprint Cup Series. And then when they get out of here on this track, which we've got them going on, where's the pace car? The pace car is sitting out, getting ready to come around and lead these guys around. It's always nice when you're at Daytona and such an exciting celebration. When we get here ready for the race, for the Pepsi 400, we'll have the F-15s out of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, out of Goldsboro, fly. And it is just an incredible patriotic moment. McArthur, the creation of America is celebrated on July the 4th, but, we're here to talk about racing. And do you think some of the keys to winning today's race?
We think that Richard Petty's going to win because he's been winning a lot. 200 years ago.
Well, and McArthur's right. He says 200. Richard Petty has won more races than any other Winston Cup driver. Now, remember, I use the term Winston because when Richard retired, it was the Winston Cup Series, and Sprint hadn't gotten into the race. Dale Earnhardt came up right behind him with some wins. So you can't come to Daytona or any track, for that matter, in America, and not look at the significance of what the King has done. Now, it looks like Denny Hamlin is out on the front-hand side. It's so funny to see him driving that number 20. And remember, if you're just now joining us, Denny wrecked his number 11 FedEx car. And McArthur caught up with Denny earlier today. What did Denny tell you about his wreck, and what is he going to do different to try to avoid wreck?
Well, he's going to try to get new gas, like the new version of the, they have, like in Cars 2, they have all in all, and they made that for the racers, so that's what Denny's going to use to be safer, because Miles Exodus wasn't safe, so it's safe right now.
So they're moving off of the Sunoco race fuel. They're going into all in all, which is an ethanol based. And it's funny. Everybody is going green, and Sprint Cup racing is no different. We're going to go down to the track and look at the lineup. Look at that. Tony Stewart, Richard Petty, AJ Allmendinger, Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano, and Greg Biffle. What a great lineup to today's race in Daytona. This is MRN Radio for Nathan Moore. Let's go back down to the pit reporter, McArthur. Anything else you want to say about today's race?
Yes. Well, the track is going to go and right now, so let's get to the track again.
All right, so the race is starting out right here on MRN Radio. It looks like right out of the front gate, it's going to be Denny Hamlin, who's running that car for Joe Gibbs Racing, Kyle Busch is behind him. And here comes Tony Stewart in turn one. Tony Stewart comes around, and Richard Petty spins out of control. Richard, but my gosh, he's almost 70 years old, and he's trying to control a car that's 220 miles an hour at the non-restrictor plate. He's probably pushing or averaging 185. Oh my goodness, Joey Logano has just come to the inside, and the car has flipped. Oh, I hope Joey is okay. And they've got Kyle Busch down in the pits changing one tire. What are they telling you, McArthur, down at Kyle Busch's pits?
Well, they told me that they're think that he's not going to be in the race at 1 o'clock. He's not going to be in this race.
Oh, so Kyle Busch is going to miss the qualifying, which means he'll start at the 43 spot. So, folks, this is what Sprint Cup racing is all about here at Daytona. We want to remind everybody that today, America getting excited for our birthday as a country, but most importantly, all those men and women of the armed forces who continue to fight for our country. You definitely want to keep them in your prayers and stand by. I'm Nathan Moore for MRN Radio. We pause 5 seconds for station identification.
Okay,